Hi everyone, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Saturday, January 7th. I think, yeah, it's January 7th of the year 2023. And this is part 2 of my WIP parade that I like to do twice a year. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to go ahead and watch the first part first, since I am showing these in chronological order. We're about halfway done with my whips, I think. Go ahead and settle in, grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, grab your stitching. The first part ended up being about 42 minutes long, so I anticipate this one being about the same, if not a little shorter. But yeah, let's get to the stitching. The next one that I have to show you, I actually don't have the cover image for it, but y'all know it, you've seen it. It's the Friends and Family Mystery Salt from 2020 by Linen and Threads. I didn't start this until September 2020, so even though they usually start, January 1st of the year they release, I waited. I wanted to make sure that it was something that I was going to like and enjoy stitching. As it is though, no progress. I'm still I think I finished 2 parts, and that's it. But I do like the design. I think I am gonna go ahead and keep stitching it. I'm doing this on a 18 count piece of Ada that's hand dyed by Rolanda. So if you've ever bought her fabrics, you know that she usually does like one-off pieces. She doesn't necessarily do the same dye, more than once. So I really like this one, and I knew it. I wanted to grab it before anybody else did. And the idea is to do it all in this color. It's 3808, and then do accents. For each part, I want to do at least one accent. So I think part 1 was the butterfly, and then part 2 was the 2 flowers here. I started specifically September 3rd, 2020. So hopefully by next time, I may just go ahead and work on each part as it goes along. But the next one I want to show you is a piece that I also haven't worked on very much, if at all, since the last time I showed it to you. This is Consider the Lilies from Heartstring Stamplery. The artist is Beth Twist, and I started this on September 10th, 2020. I'm stitching this on an 18 count Ada. The color is called Vintage Country Mocha, and I'm trying to find, there we go. It's a large, as you can see, it's a pretty large design. So, but that's all I have so far. Again, I don't think I made any progress since the last time I showed it to you. So I am doing the DMC conversion for this one. I toyed with the idea of doing the hand-dyed floss, but it wasn't in the budget. So I'm doing the DMC conversion. The next one that I want to show you, I'm actually gonna have to show you on Pattern Keeper. There came a point where our printer stopped working, so I don't have the cover images actually printed out. So just bear with me. Okay, it's this one. This is another Hade. This is A Stitch in Time from Amy Stewart. And I started this on October 14th, 2020. I am working on this on 25 count easy guide, or easy grid. I'll just use those terms interchangeably, apparently. And this is where we're at. No change since the last time I showed it to you. I'm still sitting at 3,384 stitches. So, if you saw my part 1, you'll know that for this year I would like to do 500 stitches on each one of my whips. So hopefully you'll see at least some progress on this one. Because I did start with the winter. Well, I mean, the bottom section is winter, so lots of whites and grays and blues. Next one, you know, I started one Amy Stewart. I decided to start another. I went a little crazy, and I decided to start a supersized max color version of the pattern. This is Reader's Paradise, and I started this on October 20th, 2020. And again, I'm doing the bottom left corner as per usual, which is this one. So I've done this I've done this section right here, this first stack of books, and I'm working my way with the carpeted stairs. This is going to be one of my focus pieces. Oh, I say focus pieces. Focus pieces for this year. The goal is to do at least 500 stitches a month on this one, because I figured I'm not gonna get anywhere with this if I don't work on it. So this is where we're at so far. I did grab this already this month. I ended up doing 900 stitches. So this is where we've gotten to. I am sitting at 10,215 stitches right now. So like I mentioned, I'm trying to do the carpeted stairs. Originally I wanted to do the confetti stitching this month, but you know, since I got sick, I kind of wanted to do easy stitching, so I decided to go ahead and do the carpet. So yeah, in the grand scheme of things, because it is supersized, you know, version of the chart, you can see it's big, it's really big, and that's, you know, fabric folded as it is. 500 stitches a month may not be like too much, but it's something. You know, I feel a little bit better about working on this one. The next one I want to show you is a piece that I've actually decided to UFO, and I have to finagle my way here a little bit. Here we go. It's Caramel Macchiato. I don't actually have the cover for you guys anymore. But it's a piece that I just hadn't worked on for forever, and I had been toying with the idea of just UFOing it, so I ended up just go ahead and, you know, took the plunge, because this is as far as I got. I didn't do much with it. It sat at 300 stitches for forever and ever, so I thought, okay, that's saying something. Yeah, I started this on October 21st, 2020, but again, I added those 300 stitches, and then that's it. That's all I'd ever got. So one of the very few pieces that I've actually just scrapped altogether. The next one is, again, one that I'm gonna show you on Pattern Keeper. It's another one of my Etsy patterns. This is Cinderella from Zana Cross Stitch. This is what she looks like. I started this on October 22nd, 2020, and I am using 25 count easy grid on this one as well. However, I don't think I have any progress to show on this one. Yeah, according to my notes, it says it's still sitting at 3,241 stitches. This is all I've gotten so far. It's just the bottom edge of the pattern, and started on some of the blues over here. So yeah. We'll see if again, at least the 500 stitches a month, or not a month, but a year for this one. The next one I want to show you is one that I am trying to work on at least until October. It's a pattern by Park Hopper Bart here on FlossTube, and it is inspired by the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland / Disney World, just any Disney park really. This is Tomb Sweet Tomb, and I started this on October 25th, 2020. This one I am going to tweak a little bit. He charted and stitched this for a mottled gray fabric, so I'm doing this on 18 count vintage country mocha. So I just used the leftover fabric from Consider the Lilies, and this is what I have so far. I stitched a little bit. I think I maybe added like 100 or 200 stitches on this one since the last time I showed it to you on the blue flowers. So I did have to change the colors a little bit on the, I think on the, well, actually no, all of them really, because the roses were supposed to be pink, and the blues were also a little bit lighter. But this is where we're at so far. He charted this in such a way that the Tomb Sweet Tomb part is actually stitched on a separate piece of fabric. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or if I'm just going to stitch the white frame, like a white square here and just a Tomb Sweet Tomb here. We'll see. To be determined. But this is on my radar to finish this year. And again, ideally before we hit Halloween time. Next one is another one of my hates. This is Mini Sun and Stars. The artist is called Katarina Kokiotis. Again, Handler Designs. And I started this on October 27th, 2020. This one hasn't gotten any love since the last time I showed it to you, but I do want to stitch him because he's very pretty to look at. I'm still sitting at 783 stitches on this one though, so that's, yeah, it's the bottom corner, the bottom left corner, and it hasn't moved from there, so not much to show on this one. But I am doing the 25 count easy guide on this one. And the next one I'm gonna show you is a piece that I started on Halloween. I started this on October 31st, 2020. This is Nevermore from Lila's Studio. And this was actually, I had the pattern, I bought the pattern myself, and then I was gifted everything else by Leanne from Forbidden Fiber Company. She sent me her conversion, which I actually think is available now on her website. She just did this herself for me, but then I think it's now just readily available for everyone. The name of this fabric is Morning Mist. It's a 16 count, I believe. Yeah, I think I kept the little card somewhere, but it's called Morning Mist. And then she also sent along her floss conversion. So I'm doing this on hand-dyed floss from Forbidden Fiber Company. So, and again, it's one of the pieces that I would like to keep working on. There's no progress. I forgot to mention that. There's hardly any progress since the last time I showed it to you. It's still just chilling there with the gate. So I would like to get back to this. Maybe not finish it because it's a little bit more stitch heavy, but I would like to stitch on it during Halloween time as well. Next piece that I have to show you, I'm gonna have to move around a little bit here, is here we go. This was a gift from a viewer here on FlossTube. I like to call it Summer Tree. I'm not sure what the name of the chart actually is. I started this on November 6th, 2020. And the kit came as one of those kits from China that comes with like the stamped fabric on 11 count, and it comes with the floss as well. I decided to switch out the fabric for just a scrap piece of 14 count data that I had. And this is what we're at so far. According to my notes, there's no change. This is the last time I showed it to you. So, again, hopefully hopefully I'll be able to add at least 500 stitches next time I show it to you, if not by the end of the year. One thing that yeah, it's probably not going to be until the end of the year, but one thing I do want to do this year is I want to stitch on the WIP's birthdays. So unless I finish it before their birthday, but that's another thing I'd like to do. That way I can guarantee that they're gonna be touched at least once this year. But again, this one's birthday is not until November, so it's gonna be waiting a while apparently. And then after that, I did start a very special piece. I saw this on Blitz Stitch. Yeah, I think that's the name of his channel. It's Brian, here on FlossTube. He finished this, I think, last year or the year before. I absolutely adored it. And it's a very hard pattern to find, but I just happened to come across it on a D-Stash group. This is English Garden Sampler from Teresa Wensler. I started this on November 7th, 2020. And I am using everything that came in the kit. I'm using the floss as well as the fabric. It came with a 25 count Lugana. Unfortunately, not much progress to show. This is where we're at so far. I would like to at least finish the alphabet this year. So we'll see how it goes, because it really is a gorgeous piece. It's just one of those things, like any Teresa Wensler, right? It takes a certain mindset to want to stitch on it. And at least with the alphabet, it's easy enough stitching. It is 1/1 on 25 count. The rest of it, well, not the most of it. Specialty stitches aside, it's stitched 2/2. So the alphabet is the quote-unquote tedious section. Not really. I don't mind stitch. I mean, I do full coverage on 25 count all the time, so it's not so much of a bother. So hopefully I'll just power through and work on that and get it done. Next piece is another one. It's gonna be here on the tablet. This is, okay, Pattern Keeper just spats out. Nice. This is The Little Prince from Mandarin's Designs. I started this on November 7th, 2020. And this is also on my radar to finish this year. The background is all half stitched, so it shouldn't take too long, but I say that and then I just don't pick it up. So there's that. But here's where we're at so far. There hasn't been any change since I showed it to you last. I'm still sitting at 2,070 stitches. And I say 2,000, but that's I'm just going off of Pattern Keeper, so it counts half stitches as a full stitch anyway. It's just going by symbols. So I'm at 2,070 of those. So again, this is on the radar for a finish this year. And again, going on 18 count white Ada for that one. And then in addition to The Little Prince, I also started, well, I started two. I started that one. I started Darth Vader, which I finished earlier in the year. So I think that finish is going to be in the previous WIP parade. I also started her Iron Man piece. So this is Iron Man by Mandarin's Designs. I started this on November 8th, 2020. And he hadn't gotten too much work done. I only just recently picked them up towards the end of December, and I added maybe some 400 stitches. This is where we're at so far. According to Pattern Keeper, I'm at 18.39%. And for this one, it's kind of hard to gauge because the percentage is just going off of the stitches, right? So anyway, 18.39% on this one. It's a lot of white space, so I think once I finish The Little Prince, I'll go ahead and focus on this one. Next up is tea and books. This is a chart that I started. I started with Tess from Tess Stitches. She was kind enough to give me, I think, both the chart and actually no, I think the chart I got for myself. So I remember getting the mini version and then decided I didn't like it, so I got the regular version. Anyway, if Pattern Keeper would cooperate, I could show you the mock-up. Here we go. This is Tea and Books from Bridget Ashwood for Hade. I started this on November 15th, 2020. For this one, I did make some changes. Some of the shading was a little bit lighter than I would like. She used the dark brown 839 for what's supposed to be. It went like black and then it went 839, and for me that was like too much of a difference. It didn't blend. It wasn't like a gradual change, at least for me. So I changed the 839 to 3371, which is a really, really dark brown. So this mock-up kind of reflects the change that I made. I just went in and changed the DMC code for those symbols, and then I also changed 830 DMC 830 to 839. So again, just making it a little bit darker, trying to make the change more gradual. Anyway, I am doing this on 18 count easy guide Ada, which again was gifted to me by Tess. Unfortunately, I haven't stitched on this since the last time I showed it to you. I'm still sitting at 4,452 stitches. So, kind of trying to alternate between doing the black and the background. But I think I'm coming up on the end of the black, so I may just hit the first book pretty soon. Which is pretty exciting once you think about it. Next up is, what is up? Okay. I think next up should be, let me just double check, because I did grab stuff. Yeah, okay. I was working on this one, so I forgot kind of vague idea of where it was supposed to be in terms of chronological order. The next piece that I started almost a year afterwards, because I did participate in the No New Starts Challenge in 2021. So I went the entire year, or most of the year, without starting anything. So once we had the opportunity to start something, I decided to start this chart, which is Chopper from an Etsy shop called Be Cute Today. This is a character from One Piece, an anime that I watch with my boyfriend. It's supposed to end in a couple of years. We're both kind of sad. But it ended up being the most watched show of 2022, which is pretty impressive. It beat out House of the Dragon, it beat out Wednesday, it beat out every show. So anyway, I started this on December 26th, 2021. So the challenge ended on December 14th, I think, or 15th. And then we had a couple of weeks to start anything if we wanted to start stuff. And if we wanted to participate in No New Starts 2022, that's when, we had a hard deadline. I decided not to participate anymore. But this is where we're at so far. And it is my travel piece, which is why I stitched on it yesterday. But since the last time I showed it to you in the WIP parade, kind of vague idea, I did finish the outline here, and obviously I did stitch a lot more on the hat, and I outlined the antler here. This is kind of touch and go on Pattern Keeper. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so I just took it off entirely. I can tell you that I've added maybe like 500 stitches in the last few days, mostly on this section right here. So, well, and then the 200, I think this was 200 stitches thereabouts for the antler. So yeah, so this is Chopper. I'm doing this on an 18 count white Aida, and I am using most of the called for colors. I only changed the fur because the fur ended up being too like orange-y for my taste. So I went for lighter brown, and you can kind of see right here. Next up is a chart that I started thanks to Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. This is a piece that was inspired by one of her major finishes in the last couple of years. I started Let's Go for a Swim from Hade. The artist is Jeremiah Kettner. I started this on December 27th, 2021. So, and I started it in this bottom corner with all the purples. This one hasn't gotten any love since the last time I showed it to you though. So it's officially been a year since the last time I worked on it. Yeah, it's still sitting at 300 something stitches. Yeah, 300 stitches, which is right here. 3 little boxes. So, but I do want to work on this though. It hasn't gotten quite to the point of Caramel Macchiato. I do love the image. I think it's really pretty. So it's just, you know, other things have taken priority. And I am doing it on the 25 count easy grit Lugana on this one. The next one was my new year, new start for last year, for 2022. It's a pattern that I had been eyeing and wanting, and I finally decided to take the plunge and started. This is Medusa from Unconventional Cross Stitch. The artist is Christopher Lovell. And again, January 1st, 2022 was the start date. And this one's also on the 25 count. Last time I showed it to you, I was at 1300 something stitches. I did add the 500 stitches on her on New Year's Day. This is how I started off my year. So I am now at 1813, so 1813 stitches. Most of the stitches were done in this little gray silvery color over there, but I did go in and add some colors. So I don't have this fully kitted yet, so I don't have all the colors. I'm working with what I have. I'm trying to avoid people right now. But so far so good. I do enjoy it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to when, you know, the image actually comes in. Needleminder by Stitch and Button as well. I like the raven. I thought it would go well. The next piece that I started ended up being a team effort. This is Cinderella Wishes Upon a Dream, inspired by the Thomas Kincaid Disney Dreams collection. The pattern itself is by MCG Textiles, which has long since gone out of business. So these kits are getting very expensive, very rare, very hard to find. This was actually gifted to me by Belinda, Aussie Stitcher here on FlossTube, and it ended up making its rounds. She sent it to Vic Stitching Button in Florida, who then sent it to Laurel, who lives locally here. She lives like a few towns over here in California. And then at one point I ended up meeting with Laurel for lunch, and that's how she gave this to me. So finally got it. I ended up starting it on June 1st, 2022. And I don't think I made any progress since the last time I showed this to you. I don't even know what direction this is supposed to go. Yeah, unclear. I'm not sure. May go this way. This is what I have so far. I did switch out the fabric. These kits tend to come with an Aida, and this one specifically was an 18 count Aida. But just based on my experience, it's not a good time. I did do 2 other kits of the same collection, and there's just a lot of partial stitches, a lot of outlining. So I just thought I'll just switch out to the even weave. So yeah, so I switched it up for instead of 18 count Aida, I did a 36 count white even weave. And yeah, it's a pretty big piece. This is also going to be one of my focus pieces this year, so I want to do 500 stitches a month on this one. Because again, it's one of those pieces that I really wanted to do it. It did take group effort to get to me, so yeah, so I do want to see it done. So you'll see her fairly often if you watch my regular FlossTube videos. If not, then by the next update you'll see plenty of progress, hopefully. The next start was done with Laurel. Again, speaking of Laurel Ann here on FlossTube, we both started this for our birthdays, since our birthdays are pretty close together. So I started this on July 15th, 2022. This is illustrated manuscript. The designer is Barbara Ann Richter. Can't remember if this is illustrated manuscript 1 or 2, because there's sister pattern. It's 2. There we go. Illustrated manuscript 2. So I do have the sister pattern. Plan is to finish this one and then do the the other one, the first one. But I am stitching this on I think it's 32 count even weave as well. I don't have this, the sticker just kind of fell off, but I think it is 32 count. Anyway, this is what we're at so far. For this one, I've added maybe 1800 stitches. 1800. Yeah, that's what I have on my notes. I'm about, yeah, I should be sitting about 800 stitches since I started it. I'm not quite sure though, maybe a lot more. Since it is a paper pattern, I do have to count myself, so sometimes I forgot to write it down. But this is where we're at. And again, Needle Minder by Stitching Button. It's one of my favorite quotes from Monty Python. It says, your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. So I went with a medieval theme, I said. So yeah, so you'll see her fairly often as well. I tend to use this whenever Sammy tells us to stitch an Arch Struggle Bus piece. So that's another start. The next one I have to show you is another Mirabilia. This one I started with Sarah from our Stitching Kingdom. This is Persephone. Artist is Nora Corbett. And we are doing a color conversion. We started this on October 27th of the year 2022. We're doing a color conversion. We're changing the main colors of the dress to purples, lilacs and purples. Because Persephone, if you know your Greek mythology, she is, she ends up marrying Hades. So we wanted to kind of allude, like, even though she is also the goddess of goddess of something. I just forgot. She's usually prayed to, like, for, like a bountiful season. but then she also marries the Lord of the Underworld. So I wanted to change the colors to the dress to kind of allude to that second aspect of the mythology. I also am adding or changing the color of the trim. See, there's golds and yellows. In the color conversion that we found, they're changed to pinks. It uses pinks and violets, like kind of this color, along with lighter pinks. For me, that screamed a little bit too Siamese cat from Alice in Wonderland. So I changed the trim to blacks and grays. So at least that's the plan. Anyway, this one, I didn't, this was like in the middle of school and just a lot of work, a lot of projects. So I did start it, I didn't add too many stitches on it. And I'm stitching this on a 32 count even weave from Dreamer Bug Collections called Whisper. So loved the color. I thought it would do really well with what we wanted to do. It's coming out a lot darker. It always comes out a lot darker than it really is. I swear the grays are not that green. They're not that pronounced either. But yeah. That's my start. It's like 100 stitches and that's it. So I hope to add a lot more to her in the coming months. Next up is another fancy lady. This one I started on November 25th, 2022 in honor of Stitch and Button's birthday. She had a birthday sale where she invited people to start a Bella Filipina. So I picked Reyna Paz, which I already had. I had tried to start her at one point. The kit that I got came with an 18 count Ada, even though it even says to use 14 count. And I almost immediately found out that it wasn't gonna work. You know, these, just like Mirabilis, have a lot of partial stitches, a lot of detailing and beading, and I thought, I don't think the beads are gonna be able to fit in an 18 count fabric. So my friends helped me to pick out another fabric for her, and they ended up choosing this jade Belfast linen. It's a 32 count from Picture This Plus. So this is what she looks like, and I don't know what's going on with my thread. My needle's just all over the place right now. There we go. For here we are. This is what I have so far. I have it written down that I have 900 stitches done on her, so I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it kind of may make sense, but it seems like a lot to me. I don't know. Point being is I just have the outline of the dress, the mermaid dress. So hopefully, again, more progress on her. I will focus on Veronica first so I can finish her, but I also know that she's definitely gonna get finished. So we'll see. We'll see how I work on these. And I think second to last piece that I wanted to show you is a project that I'm doing for my younger sister. As I'm stitching something for my twin, I wanted to do something for my younger sister as well. This is called Amsterdam. The artwork is from a woman named Maria Bulavinsteva. The charting was done by Zlata Kieva. That's the name of the Etsy shop, or the shop that she has is Zlata Cross Stitch. And there's 4 in this collection. There's 4 cities. There's Amsterdam, Paris, I think Lisbon. I don't remember the other 2. But I just started with Amsterdam. And I started this on December 19th, 2022. And I think this is how it goes. I think this is the right side up. I'm not sure. Does that look correct? No, it must be. I think it's this way. I'm not sure. This is what I have so far. I've got 400 stitches done on it already. And I am doing this on a 32 count as well. No, 28 count white Lugano. So that's what we have so far. And I do hope to finish at least Amsterdam before the next WIP parade. The last piece that I want to show you is the one that I started for this new year. Although I technically started on the 2nd, since on the 1st I was working on Medusa. If you watch my regular FlossTube updates, then you'll have heard me talk about her. This is Scarlet Witch, Multiplication Madness from Tilton Crafts. Artwork is by Daniel Kordek. And I am doing this on a 25 count fabric that I was gonna use for Caramel Macchiato. So this is where the stitches for Caramel Macchiato were, and I just decided to recycle the fabric and start on Scarlet Witch. So I've done 600 stitches on her so far. I can start on the 2nd of January 2023. And I am gonna work on her. I'm gonna keep working on her this month. For full coverage phonetics, they have a theme this year where every month there's going to be a specific color. So as long as you find something in a pattern that is that color, you can go ahead and stitch on it for the month. There's no stitch count for that particular challenge, so just stitch as much as you want or as little as you want. So January was Scarlet, or red, I guess. So I thought, okay, Scarlet Witch it is. That kind of determined my new year, new start. So yeah, so that's the last piece I've started. So that concludes my WIP parade for today. In the year 2022, I started 7 pieces. No, finished. I finished 7 pieces. Again, most of them were gifts, so I couldn't actually show it to you. So I guess that made for a pretty boring, boring parade. So I finished 7 pieces. I started 9, but then I also UFO'd 2 more. So it ended up evening out. I ended the year with pretty much as many, I think 45 wipes. So I started the year, or ended the year the same way I started it. This year I do hope to focus more on my current projects. I don't want to start too many. Amsterdam was really the last thing that I wanted to start, that I felt like I needed to start. And then Scarlet Witch was the New Year start. So besides those 2, I don't really feel the need to start anything else. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed everything that you saw. I will try to put as much of the information as I have available regarding the WIPs on the description box below. As usual, with these types of things, I don't have enough room to put like individual links to every single pattern. But that's also why I make a point of telling you the design, the name and the artist. So that for things like Tilton Crafts and Hade, that I have so many patterns of, you can go on the main website and just look for them, give them the information. But yeah, I do hope to film a regular FlossTube update in a week, since I'm out of school. Otherwise, I do again thank you for joining me, and I will see you in 6 months for the mid-year WIP parade. Take care, guys. Ciao.